Hello, Yash. Thank you. I appreciate. Thank you so much, Yash. Okay. We have a comment. I was trying to connect with you, but I failed in it. Please, can you tell me how can connect with you personally? I have some very important questions. All right. So one way probably could be when we hold events in New Delhi or in Mohali, Chandigarh, or in the mountains, because I often travel to local mountain hill stations, and it is possible for anybody to be over there and interact with me as much as they want. I do not uh, talk on phone or WhatsApp. I don't have those things. So other than that, you are free to email me your questions or ask me things on live chat. And I do respond to questions on email. It's just that I take time to respond. So that's the only thing. Feel free to ask anything or share anything. Hello to all of you. Okay, CND has a question. मुझे डायरेक्शन नहीं मिल रहा है, स्पेशली करियर में क्या करें? ओके, सो यू आर नॉट एबल टू फाइंड डायरेक्शन in your career. I would say at this stage in your life, if you're young, explore what are the possibilities. You may have to take up different jobs, different profiles to see what actually suits, what actually resonates. Sometimes there's no direct way but to just, just go ahead. So don't sit here and think what is best for you. Just go and experiment and see what resonates. And ultimately, you may find something which deeply resonates with you. So this is something which you may have to experiment on your own. Yash says in Mumbai it's raining. Oh wow, lovely. We are waiting for the rains here in Punjab Mohali region. It's quite hot, and the rains, I believe, would bring some relief. Okay. Typhus is just saying hi, I'm going to sleep now. Love from the other side of the world. Thank you. Hi to you too. All right, enjoy your sleep. It's good to have good sleep. I know in some places it is probably a little late, but so Truth says, I want to meet you personally. I have lots of important questions which have turned my life in 360-degree. I believe the meeting will happen soon. Ketan says hi, hello, and Abhin says, what is the best inner work to attain moksha fast? Well, you see, bring your attention to the one that wants to attain moksha. Who is this one? What is its nature? What is that you want to attain through moksha? What does the word moksha mean to you? What is it going to give you that you do not have right now? When you ponder these questions, it becomes more clear. All right, SS says freezing cold in South Africa. Okay, snow everywhere. Sipping tea too. Oh wow. Well, I'm sipping coffee too, but it's not cold here. It's actually quite hot here. It's blazing hot here. So it's the opposite weather, opposite temperature. C&D Entertainment says, सर सपने में न्यू लोगों को देखना, न्यू प्लेसेस, इसका क्या मतलब हो सकता है? एंड मुझे कंसिस्टेंट रहने में प्रॉब्लम हो रही, चाहे वो करियर हो या स्पिरिचुअल प्रैक्टिसेस लाइक मेडिटेशन, फील डिस्ट्रैक्टेड. You know, it happens. This happens sometimes when we are young and there's a lot of stress. There's a lot of stress of expectations from parents, from caretakers, relatives. One can get really doubtful as to what one must do, because in our families we are told we must do this, we must take a particular path. So the confusion can happen. Let it be inconsistent. At least it's there, even if the spiritual practices is there, even if it's happening once in a while, it's fine. It will bring benefit. So don't worry about it. Just keep going, keep experimenting. Do not doubt yourself, and you will find your path. Is it okay to stay away from people who are harmful for peace and safety? I mean, can I stay away from my father? What is right and wrong here? There is no right and wrong. Anyone or anything who takes away your peace, it is perfectly okay to move away. Because peace is your birthright. And it is something nobody can take away from you. So if someone, even if it's a very close relative, is taking away that peace, you have every right to move away. It doesn't matter who's right or who's wrong. The thing is that one particular relationship dynamic is creating unrest. It's bringing out the worst in you. It's creating disharmony. It's better to move away. How to balance the flow of information in work, life demands of life, and awakening? Well, you see, when you are completely in tune with yourself, when you learn to remain with your own inner being, the need to acquire information from external sources becomes very less. All the information that you require is for practical purposes. Like, for example, if you want to know the status of, let's say, some work happening in your area, that is the information which is useful to you, because let's say some electricity repair is going on in your area. That information may be practically useful, so that is okay. But when we seek information about how to live life, what to do, we will get different perspectives from different people, and all that happens is we end up in more and more confusion. So listening to your own voice of intuition, listening to what brings you peace, that is important. So the answers will come from within you only. They will not come from an outside source. Nobody can tell you what is the right information or wrong information. It has to come from within you. So the thing is, you learn from your own experience. That is important. Ketan says, where do you live? I live in Punjab in India, in Mohali. Okay, Dr. Krishna says, what is the role of nervous system in the process of awakening? So nervous system in the early stages of awakening, when the awakening happens, quote unquote, is quite stimulated because, again, as I mentioned in most of my videos, the mind gets a glimpse of its unreality and it is opening up to the glimpse, to the vastness, and it cannot bear to you know to bring to reconcile with this thought that its existence is completely illusory. But what happens is, as this awareness dawns more and more and this presence increases, the nervous system begins to calm down. So rather than trying to find solutions, rather than running here and there after methods, tips, tricks, which are all fine. For example, breathing exercises are very helpful in calming the nervous system. But ultimately, there has to be a deeper understanding. And when that understanding is clear, understanding of your true nature, which is peace, then nervous system begins to remain relaxed most of the time. Abin says nothing is good or bad. How? Just as you were born, when you were born, you did not have a definition of good or bad. You were told what is good or bad. So you were always told that by people who were around you, and with their own limited understanding and intellect, they told you what's good and what's bad. People can tell you your religion is the best religion, other religions are bad. And if you interact only with those people, you will be convinced that your religion is the best religion in the world and other religions are bad. The only way for you to know is to actually go and live with people of the other religion to come to an assessment what is good and what is bad. So people who do that actually have a very neutral perspective towards different religions. So they see that good and bad is just a shade. It's a shade of gray. There is no pure white, black and white. Living with black and white thinking is living in suffering. Ketan says, how do you make your living, sir? I make my living by your support. So we do Zoom talks every Wednesday and every Sunday. And this channel survives through donations. And thankfully, my needs and wants are very small in life. So I can do with less. So it works out. Ketan, are you continuously outside the body like the soul? Just Osho said once that after enlightenment, he is never in the body. Just a thread tying me to the navel center. Also, do you get dreams? So there is no concept of outside, inside. There is just this body, which is the instrument. Now, I do not understand enlightenment. I'm not enlightened. I do not know what enlightenment is. Probably Osho would give a better description of that. But the thing is, again, these concepts, I don't know, like where is the navel center and who's tied to what. I just know that there is a feeling of peace and restfulness that I experience. And even when there are life challenges, the peace remains, the anchor of that remains. So that's the only thing. And yes, I do get dreams. I dream a lot. So yes. Purpose of life. Purpose of life is to accept and work on whatever life shows us. You choosing a purpose in life is fine. It's a worthy, it may be a worthy goal, but ultimately life will decide what you will do, how you will go about. and it's not for you to decide. So allow the life to show you the purpose. Right now, just be present in this very moment with complete receptivity. That's your only job. Rest, the life itself will show. You don't have to worry about a specific purpose. The purpose will happen. Even in okay, so next comment is, even in challenges the peace remains. That's wonderful. Yes, the peace remains. Doesn't mean that we don't feel the pain, the emotional pain. Pain is always there. It's just that it does not become thinking in horizontal times. Why me? All that cribbing. Why me? Why did this have to happen with me? Or there is no need to find any solution to any challenge. Let the challenge pass away. And it passes fast, because that's the transient nature of life. So I remain present with whatever is arising in a given moment, and that is peace. Okay, Farhan says, Bhaiya, if there is no good or bad, then what about criminals and the crime they do? They are wrong, right? See, here's the thing, nobody chose to be a criminal. They were not born from their excuse me, they were not born from their mother's womb as criminal. Again, generally we are fixated with a very black and white thinking about criminals. What I would suggest is, like, go to a police station, go to a jail and meet criminals, talk to them. Then you will get an idea as to what is going on. I met one criminal, and to say he was a very hardened criminal, but when I asked him, like, what happened, like, why did you commit this crime, and it happened, and he told me that we were not born like this. We were very sweet children. We were the apple of our what do you say in English? What's that phrase? Apple of our parents, eye. We were like we, but yes, things happened, events happened, and which brought out something nasty, something, and we have seen that abused people perpetuate abuse sometimes. So there is no, the justice system, is there to see, to hold accountability. The accountability has to be there, but there is no absolute right or wrong in this. If you see, there are too many forces acting on human organism. You don't know tomorrow what you can be subjected to, and it may bring out the worst in you. So yes, people are just living their destinies based on what is happening. And some of us are fortunate to have good parenting and relatively comfortable life, but some others are not that fortunate. Now again, it's a perception of the mind. So all this good and bad is relative. It's not an absolute. So it doesn't mean that everybody has that everybody can do whatever they want, because there will be consequences of actions. But to see anybody in that light and to label them as this or that is basically creating divisions. And as it is, the society is very divided, so we don't need any further divisions. Most of the people just want to be heard. Their stories, they want to be heard. And when they are heard, sometimes they change. Okay, what is the best suggestion to a person who badly messed up his body and mind by doing multiple form of spiritual practices and meditation? Thanks. Well, I would say just let it be. Just don't do any more practices and just live life. Be more spontaneous. If a practice is not bringing you peace, then that practice is of no use to you. If too much meditation or too many spiritual practices are taking away your peace, then they are not worth it. Because ask yourself deep down what you want. Deep, deep down, everybody wants peace. That's it. All right, Pallavi says, the more I'm observing my mind, the more mess I'm able to see in it. Sometimes it feels exhausting and challenging. There is a rush of uncomfortable thoughts. I'm trying to be present, but still. So here's the thing, do not try to be present, just be present. Being present means not resisting whatever is whatever is arising. The exhaustion and challenge, the exhaustion that you're experiencing is happening because somewhere there is a resistance that is trying to not feel. So when you're completely present to the content of your consciousness, you will notice that there will be no exhaustion. You will be completely at peace with whatever is arising. Somehow, somewhere, there is a conflict that does not want to feel or that wants the content to change somewhere. And just watch, just keep watching and see that resistance. In observing the resistance drops. And when the resistance drops, the original feeling also drops. Some days I feel awareness embracing me, while on other days I find myself acting unconsciously. Is this path not meant to be linear? No. There is no path which is linear. There is no recovery that is linear. There is no healing that is linear. We all know it. It everything goes through this flip flop, and there are days of confusion, unrest, while the other days there is peace, bliss. So you have to accept both. Abhishek says, why is it so difficult to explain this to family members after spiritual awakening, that the way they are living life is misery? Why we can't explain that live life as it is? We should not have plans. Abhishek, who are even we to tell anybody how they should live or should not live? And some sort of planning in life has to happen, unfortunately or fortunately, because that's the design of life. So think of it this way: your family members, they're operating from the consciousness, from the limited information that they have received. Now try to understand that the conditioning that has happened through years and years of listening to different life philosophies is not just going to change in one instant. So I would say it would be better to let them live their life the way they want to live, and you live your life the way you want to live. So be concerned with yourself and not them. The very thought of explaining it to the parents is basically to get their validation. And you may not get their validation, but still you need to move on. That is why they say spiritual path requires courage. Words of Osho, words of Nisargadatta Maharaj, all of them say the same thing. It requires courage. It requires the ability to move on even when things are uncomfortable, even when nobody understands you. Do you live with your family? Yes, I live with my mother. Truth. I have realized silence, pure awareness beyond mind. Yet peace hasn't fully come. I feel negative. I feel negative liberation, freedom from, not freedom in. In some subtle, is some subtle identity still left? Yes, of course. This subtle identity is the last, is the last hurdle. So embrace this, this restlessness, and let it pass too. This too shall pass. Okay, Yash says, does chanting help? Yes, every spiritual practice helps, whether it is chanting or meditation or anything. But you see, at the end of the day, this question has to come up as to who is doing the practice, who is doing the chanting. Ramana Maharishi would say, when the chanting happens spontaneously, that is self realization. Sarthak, okay. Sir, I'm feeling very lonely these days. It seems all spiritual seekers are living in the astral plane these days, and I'm alone in the here and now. Well, thank God you're saved, Sarthak, buddy. Astral plane is much drama, too much drama. Here and now is better. Farhan says, what about murderers? They are wrong in every way, right? There is no exception. Well, it depends on how you see perspective. Murder happened in Mahabharata also. Murder against family members, but you choose to see that in a different way. Now, what someone may call fight for righteousness, the other may perceive it as complete manipulation. People kill when there are cross border fights, when there are wars. Some people will see it as completely wrong. Some people who are complete ahimsavadi will say that's completely wrong. So you see, it is all a gray area. There is no absolute right or wrong here. Now, again, it is not to say that murders should get away with, because that is generally the fear which comes in us. Oh, that means you're saying somebody can commit a crime and get away with it. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is every action will have consequence. So if somebody murders someone, there will be punishment, there will be consequences from the society. But if you keep this perception of this person as a murderer, you will never be at peace. But if you see deep into why the murder was committed, and if you can see the forces that were acting on this individual where the murder was committed, you will get a good picture, you will get a better picture, and there will be no absolute black and white thinking. It is the black and white thinking, the absolute right and absolute wrong that we are convinced of, that keeps us in this whole cycle of suffering. Because then we come to abrupt conclusions like the world is all good or sometimes, and or the world is all bad the other times. And both of these extreme conclusions drive us away from this very present moment. So yes, it is not to justify crime or criminals, but there is no absolute truth to it. There are forces that are beyond our understanding when these things happen. If we move from that understanding, we will be more compassionate to other people, and we will be compassionate to ourselves also. Because even a dacoit like Ungulimal, who used to cut fingers of people, met Buddha and transformed. So the human potential is always there to awaken, to realize the wrongdoing. But the consequences will happen, because even Angulimal was beaten up by people when he tried to become a monk. He was practically beaten to death, but Buddha saved him. So, everybody has a chance. And that is the reason why we have the law system, the justice system is, we may say, yes, there are problems, but again, that system goes through a lot of check and balances. A common man with their explosive black and white thinking will immediately say, kill them, do this, do that. But a judge is trained to see things in a different way. They are trying to to understand the whole system. So, you see, okay, Abhishek Sheikh says, thank you. Yes, when we see the pain around people, this concern does come up, the horrible act, or things shouldn't have happened in a particular way, someone should not have been killed, crime should not have happened. But you see it, we cannot make sense of these things. And seeing them from an absolute perspective is just going to disrupt our peace. So if we see, if we are able to look into it deep, we will see that there are forces that are beyond our understanding. So all we can do is surrender to God's will. Now, it doesn't mean that actions will not have consequences. Actions certainly will have consequences. But true. And it is perfectly okay to state your preference and take your side if you want to. But there should not be any hatred, because hatred is a poison that just burns you. It does nothing to the other. So resentment, hatred is self-destructive. You see, it is the destruction of, it is destructive to our peace. So when we understand that there are things I cannot fully comprehend in this, I just remain peaceful and I trust the universe with everything the way it is happening. All right, I'm glad this helped. Rishita Dalal, can you speak Hindi also? Yes, I can speak Hindi. If you ask me a question in Hindi, I can respond to you in Hindi also. But it's just that many people are from other countries, and sometimes there are people from different other parts of India as well. So I choose English as a medium right now. Although there are some Hindi videos on the channel, there are, I think, 10 Hindi videos on the channel, and I'm planning to start a completely new channel, or Hindi channel, explaining the teachings. But it's going to take a little bit time because I'm waiting for some things to settle down here. All right. How will I know if my awakening has happened? Some days I feel peaceful, other days confused. Sometimes I feel caught up in the grip of ego, and other days I feel beyond the mind and emotions. You see, awakening is not a personal phenomena. You will not awaken. The person does not awaken. Awakening happens. Now, this very thing that is happening, where this confusion is arising, where one day you will feel blissful, another day you feel caught up, itself indicates that a crack has happened. And moreover, you are here, you are seeking answers to questions. That itself shows that something has happened here. So do not try to figure out if the real awakening or awakening has happened. Just let the process flow. Do not worry about whether the awakening has happened, it real or not. That's just mind playing games. All right. Pallavi says, thank you, sir. But what if whatever mind is showing is getting true? Also, whether it's good or bad, that makes me stressed even more about them. Is it intuitive? Pallavi, I'm sorry, I'm not able to understand the question. But what if whatever my mind is getting true? I don't know if I truly understand the question, but you see, if you believe the mind will make it true. Your body will eventually act in ways that it will make things as true. For example, if you feel that, if you're convinced that the world is a bad place, according to your definition of good and bad, and your mind keeps reinforcing the thought that the world is a bad place, then all that will happen is bad experiences. You will only experience bad things. Not because things are bad as such, but because your mind is superimposing things as bad. So somebody says something to you, you may feel, you may interpret it differently based on your conditioning, and then come to the conclusion that they're trying to hurt me. You see, that is why this teaching only says, abide in the being. That is where you will get the true answers, when your mind is quiet. Because mind is just like a pendulum, it will swing from one direction to the other direction. The true knowledge is impersonal. All personal knowledge is false, it fails. Absolutes like good and bad, virtue, vice, moral, immoral, legal, illegal, these are all relative. What was moral back in the old days is not moral anymore. Morality changes with traditions, with cultures. So whatever is changing cannot be the absolute truth. Only the unchanging is the truth. And that is your own being, your own place of peace, most natural state. It never changes, it is always there. It is like the ocean from which everything arises. Okay. All right. I think we have covered a couple of questions. I thought I will have a short interaction with you all, and we will conclude for now. And if there are any questions or any concerns, you can either email them to me, or you can join Zoom that happens every Wednesday in the evening and Sunday, where you can share more. All right. Take care, all of you.